Hey, welcome back to the channel. I just want to do a brief update here on what's been going on and put out some content for you guys here quick, but just let you know what's been going on and what's coming soon to the channel in the future. So tag along with me. All right, so I was at the swap meet, the Barrie swap meet. That was great, successful event. Came back, had some work stuff to do, and ended up anyways under the weather. And so that work event sort of put me out a week, and I'm about 2 extra weeks here, just trying to recover. But what we've got to do is clean up. You can see behind me, and I'll flip you around and show you, but we got a lot of cleanup to do. So when I came back from the swap meet, everything just sort of got rammed in the front of the shop here on the C50. A lot of this stuff that is left over is basically junk. It was stuff that I couldn't even really give away. So some of it will be going to be stored outside, maybe to be used on some later projects. The rest of the stuff will be going to the dump and to scrap. So that's got to happen. We just threw it all here because I cleared out the trailer, trying to hopefully go camping with my daughter. And that's when I ended up getting a little bit under the weather. But we will be back on some projects here. So the first project that I got to get back onto is the Skylark. I want to get the Skylark up and running so that it runs and dries and can move basically out of this spot, because the Mercury is going to be going on this lift for the winter. So once it's on this lift, then the C50 will probably go over here on the hoist. The Skylark can stay in the middle of the shop so it can be moved in and out, and that way we can keep working on these other two projects and slowly work on the Skylark, get it up and running. The plan has always been for the Skylark is pretty much a budget build. Some of the stuff, as I'm sure some of you guys will know and understand, that some of the stuff does cost a little bit more money, like the interior and whatnot that I've bought for this. So I've got seats, seat covers to replace on this and some other stuff. Maybe we will paint this year. I'm not sure if this will get done this winter or not. Probably not, because the goal is going to be to get the Mercury running and driving and roadworthy for next year, and also the C50 hopefully up and running and driving for next year. My plans for that keep sort of changing every day, but I'm hoping this will end up being a ramp truck, and that'd be pretty cool. So that's the plan for this. But anyways, to get this thing up and running, this small block Chevy, there's going to be some content on this where I basically do a quickie sort of rebuild on this, where I throw cam and lifters in it, different intake and whatnot on that. I've got headers here so that it will go in the C50. It's going to be a little bit light of horsepower and torque on this motor to go in that to be a ramp truck, but I'm going to try it. Let's just see if we can do it. Let's see how it works out. Cheap 350 that came out of the Suburban, so we're going to try and get that thing in the C50 running and driving. Like I said, I picked up some headers here for that, and I'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. And yeah, so we're going to keep going on the Mercury, the 4.8 LS motor. Still plan is to put it in here. I'm probably going to run it with the factory wiring and ECU because it should be able to run. The ECU has basically been run with the body control module disconnected, which should allow it to just start up and run, which means the VATs have been disconnected. So that's the plan on that. So these headers, picked up these headers from Performance Improvements. Kind of a bummer of a thing going on. So the headers and actually some other parts, I picked up a whole box of parts from them. I just went and saw them, the guys, the other day in the Barrie store. Hopefully I'll make it down to Toronto to go talk to those guys. But Performance Improvements was a local speed shop up here, had quite a few stores. I actually worked there for quite a while actually. And the boys just decided that they'd sort of had enough with the way that the world's going and whatnot, I guess. And so they've shut the store down. So as of when this video is coming out, they may already have been closed, the stores, but so they've had a bunch of sales going on and clearing out all the rest of their inventory. And so we'll see what happens in the next little while, if they're going to have an auction or whatever for the end of that. But yeah, it's kind of a bummer that they're closing down, but I totally get it. Trying to compete with the Summits and the Jegs and all that stuff down in the US. Anything over $200, Summit now ships free to Canada on most items. So that's pretty big. That's a pretty big deal, because shipping for us has always been the hurdle the last couple of years, especially after this pandemic and whatnot. So it's kind of a bummer that they're shutting down, but let me show you what I picked up. So like I said, I picked up those headers. So those are for Chevy truck headers. Got them at a pretty good deal. I got, what else did I get? Transmission dipstick. So that will maybe end up being for the Skylark. I hope it'll work. And some diesel additive. Got some oil filter here. Picked up some wire separators. Got a proportioning valve, which will either be for this car or the Skylark, but there is one in the Skylark. I'm just not sure if it's drum or disc drum. But either way, this will probably be for this car. And some short water pump pulleys. If you saw my other video on that pink Chevy, it originally had a short water pump in it, where the water pump is still good, but none of the pulleys really lined up properly. So I managed to get, at a pretty good deal, a short water pump and short crank pulley for short water pump. And so now I can use that short water pump on that 350 in that truck, because most of those Chevy trucks should have had a short water pump on it. So hopefully that'll make where the motor sits and everything else line up a little bit better in that truck with the short water pump stuff. I also got a set of, really cool Taylor sticker. That's pretty cool. Put that up there. I got a set of Chevy lifters, because I think the tick that I'm getting in the small block and the pink small block, I may have a bad lifter. So I picked up a pretty good deal on a set of lifters, oil filter, and this master cylinder, which may or may not work. They had it as a display model. Anyways, they made me a really good deal on it. So we'll see. Hopefully I can get this bled up, and that would work nicely in the Mercury, because where the booster and pedal assembly and all that is in this car, it would be nice to have the outlets on the opposite side. So with the outlets coming out on this side like they are with the master cylinder that I have, it's quite close to everything over here. Now obviously I've cut away this firewall quite a bit, but it is quite close to this side. So with the outlets on the opposite side, it makes it a little bit easier for plumbing brake lines and whatnot. So that'd be cool if that works in there. And it's chrome, so it kind of looks nice if and when I ever do lift the hood, which I won't. So what can you expect to see on some content coming up soon? Like I said, the Skylark, there'll be a bunch of content on it coming up shortly, because it's going to be running and driving. I am going to be doing some more content, obviously on the Mercury. I'm going to be doing lots, but what I am going to be doing is a video on cutting the glass and fitting the glass in this for the windshield. So I've got the glass sitting back there. I already trimmed up one of them. I need to grind it down and grind it down a little bit more to fit the one side, so it's the driver's side. And then I will be doing a complete start to finish on the passenger side, cutting that glass down. And my plan is to basically just flush mount this. I'm going to glue it in with windshield adhesive, and hopefully glue the center as well. So I'll just have a seam, straight seam in the center. So that's gonna be a really neat video on that. So that'll be good for any of you guys on doing that. And then obviously, like I said, I'm going to have a video of doing a quick rebuild, cam lifters and whatnot in that small block Chevy. So I'm going to have some content on that, as well as a lot of content on getting that C50 up and running. So tag along, hit that subscribe, smash the like, tell all your friends. Let's get this thing to, we're almost at 500 subscribers. Obviously, 1,000 is a huge milestone, and I can't wait to get there. And I appreciate all you guys for that. And trust me, there will be lots of content coming out, and I will be doing my darndest to get some of these projects done. So thanks very much, and take care.